4th, 2021. Everyone, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, no flag. Oh. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Okay. Fredericks.
Here.
Gilfelty.
Here.
McAnally.
McAnally here.
Paul's here. Roscoe.
Here.
Jameson.
Here.
Crova.
Here.
Bagralty.
Here.
And Freitag.
Here.
Did I miss anybody?
We're all here.
I don't think so. All righty. Approval, excuse me, approval of the agenda.
So move, Madam Chair.
Support.
I have a motion from Mr. Gladfelty, supported by Mr. Paul, to approve the agenda. Mr. Gladfelty,
Yes.
Mr. Paul,
Yes.
Mr. Frederick,
Yes.
Ms. Jemison,
Yes.
Mr. McAnally,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mr. Crova,
Yes.
Mr. Boboade.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, agenda is approved. Item 5, comments from the public on non-agenda items. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on something that's not on our agenda? Moving right along. Item 5 is old business, and we have SPR 2019024, Town Place Suites. And they are requesting a site plan extension for the development over on Smith Road, east of Merriman Road. Is the petitioner here?
Good evening, Madam Chair. I'm Jack Romulus. I'm with Group 10 Management. We're here tonight requesting an extension to our site plan, which was approved about a year ago. As you know, that was approved in February of 19. In March, the pandemic hit. Everything came to a stop. Occupancy rates dropped. Financing dried up. And we're still pretty much in that situation right now. Occupancy rates are rising. Things are looking a little better. Financing is still difficult, but we're hoping in the next year and a half that will change and we'll get back to a more normal situation.
Very good. Carol, did you or Bob have any comments on this?
I will certainly comment and apologize. The letter in your packet had some incorrect information in the summary part. We use templates, and it was one of those that the letter got started, and many interruptions between when it went out. So you've got a new one in front of you tonight with the correct information, which is basically the conditions from the approval back last year. So you can use the memo that's on your desk in front of you.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Yes, Mr. Paul.
Are you going to try and develop this, or are you going to try and sell the property?
No.
Or both?
We have no plans to sell the property.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Chairman.
I guess a motion is in order.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, Mr. McAnally.
I'd make the motion to approve a 12-month site plan extension for SPR 2019-024 Town Place Suites Hotel for a 4-story, 17,420 square foot hotel with 108 guest rooms until August 19th, 2022, subject to the 7 conditions listed on the memo.
Support.
I have a motion from Mr. McAnally, supported by Ms. Jamison, to approve the 12-month extension for site plan SPR 2019024, Town Place Suites Hotel, subject to the 7 waivers that are listed on page 2 of the planner's report dated August 4th, 2021. Is there any discussion? Mr. McAnally.
Yes.
Ms. Jamison.
Yes.
Mr. Frederick.
Yes.
Mr. Paul.
Yes.
Mr. Gladfelty.
Yes.
Mr. Boboade.
Yes.
Mr. Crova.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. You have your extension, sir. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
We go on to new business, and the first item we have is SPR 2021-011, Aslan Romulus site. And this is a request for site plan approval for a, I've been at home all this time, I'm not. Site plan approval for a construction of a 105,000 square foot manufacturing facility at 16900 Warman Road, parcel 80, 128-99-001-000. And the petitioner is here. Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Good.
My name is Kenny Curry, I'm the construction manager for Janasco Development Company. I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to come out and allow us to speak to you about an endeavor that we're trying to go into. We're really excited to be in the city of Romulus, so excited that I was able to pull our president, CEO, and founder of Janasco Development Company here this evening to be with you. And if you don't mind, just giving him a few minutes so we could explain Janasco Development Company and what our vision is for Aslan Modular. All right, so at this time, I'll bring to you Amin Irving.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Amin Irving, President, CEO, founder of Janasco Development Company. Janasco Development Company is a real estate development and preservation company. We've been around for 19 years. We currently own 29 properties, 4 pieces of vacant land with a capitalized value of a little over $450 million. And then we have another 13 projects with another $200 million of site control, of actual financing in place right now. What I'm really excited about this project is Janasco Development Company is a development company, so I own and I develop property. Over my 19 years of history, construction costs have creeped up over and over and over again. And it's gotten to the point where it's putting a strain on actual development and production, right? So about 5 years ago, Janasco embarked on a vertical integration strategy with construction and property management. I'm happy to be here today and pretty much a culmination of a little over 5 years worth of work to build a modular manufacturing facility. And what that is we basically be building Lego blocks in a factory assembly line setting, and then those Lego blocks, those 3D volumetric units, would then be delivered to sites that I then own. It is a very cost-efficient and timely manner of construction, and we are looking to do this for affordable housing communities within an 800-mile radius of this site. I'd be happy to share with you some job numbers. There, in the first year alone, we have 7 different job categories that we are anticipate hiring, from 4 clerical to 88 craftsmen and skilled folks, to 11 managerial positions, 2 operators and semi-skilled workers, 4 professionals and 2 salespeople, and 10 technicians. That's a total of 121 jobs that we anticipate bringing to the city of Romulus in year 1. The average salary of all of those positions are $76,000, ranging from $60,500 to $20,000 all the way to $93,063. That is us in a nutshell. So who I have with me today is the people that have been really doing a lot of the heavy lifting. We have David from Manic Smith Group, who did a great job at preparing the site plan that adds efficiency to our production line. And then we also have Brevard, the general contractor, that will actually turn this vision into a reality. So with that, David?
Well, I put the site plan up on the board to start with, I think, and I have one of them here on the left. So the site is, site is being purchased from the neighbor on the north.
You have to use the microphone.
I think there's one right there.
Yeah. People at home don't read lips.
Hello? Hello?
Thank you. Is it working? Okay, so the property's being purchased from the owner on the north, and the site, what we're trying to do with the site is, number one, fit the building in onto the site, more in the center of the property. So our setbacks from the property on the north is 157, from Warman is 302, from Pennsylvania 235, and from I-275 306. So with those setbacks, there's this existing detention pond. It's not as big as this. It was only sized for the original development that's currently on the north. So this project, we need to increase the size of the detention pond. And one thing that we're trying to do also is not disrupt any of the county drain that runs on the far west part of the property. There's a lot of vegetation there, and so we're planning to just leave it as is and not tear anything down, actually add a little bit to it. So for the buffer and the landscaping and the viewpoint of what you would see from I-275, we went ahead and made an exhibit. This is a picture I took just a few days ago out on 275. We photoshopped into the picture the actual building, although this color is the wrong color on this picture, but so you have the correct one in front of you. And so this is the view from I-275. We worked with the Planning Commission extensively on a lot of different aspects, and we felt that it was, we needed two driveways really, so we spread them apart as far as we could, but I think we're a little bit lagging in the distance between the two, and I think there's a waiver that we requested for that. That's one of the items. We're going to put the sidewalk in on Pennsylvania, on Warman, but we're requesting to not put the sidewalk in Pennsylvania. It doesn't go anywhere over the bridge. The bridge over I-275, there's no sidewalk on the bridge, so really it would be unsafe to take pedestrians and put them up to that point. If they're trying to cross, it would be it would actually be an unsafe situation. So we've asked for a waiver on that. I think a waiver was previously granted to a different applicant previously, and so we're requesting that waiver. Then at the same time, all the natural material on I-275, we don't want to cut it down and plant new trees that are smaller. We think that the current vegetation is a better solution for the community here. I think we've met all the requirements for parking, lighting, utilities, access for fire trucks to go around the perimeter, to cut through the actual site of where one of the parking lots is. And this is like a storage area here. So kind of what happens is that the raw materials would come in and drop off here. And everything would do is sit outside here. They would come out with forklifts, remove the raw materials. Then there would be like an assembly line process that would take it from the south side, build it through the building, and then you come out the north side. And they have these large moving devices that would pick up the modules, bring them out into this area here, and then we would store them until they're going to be shipped out. So, as it was previously described, these are built for an actual project. It's not like they're built and waiting for somebody to come by. So they sit here for a short duration until they're shipped out to the site for construction. So the flow, so there's no trucks pulling in and out of the actual building. So they all just come in, get a load, and then they leave. So one of the other things is that there was concern about what we would see from Warman Road. So we went ahead and we added and supplemented a lot more landscaping on Warman than what's currently out there. And we actually added it. I got the wrong drawing, I apologize. We extended the berm in this area here. That should be on your plans. I can pull that up. Sorry. Well, the plans that you have in front of you show extended landscaping that comes west of this driveway to kind of buffer any of the site distance that comes in here. That would be on sheet 7.0. With the photometrics, I think we met your requirements of greater than 3 and less than 10. And the landscaping, again, we're asking for the variance of the landscaping along the west side of Pennsylvania. As far as the landscaping that's out there now. The parking requirements, we're just over it by, I think, by 1 right now. And the only other thing that was discussed about was should we have a sidewalk that comes from Warman into the site. And we were told from the lighting that there's a lot of security concerns, and we don't have a fence. We're not proposing any kind of fence, so we would prefer not to have a pedestrian access that would walk from into the site from the Warman Road. I don't know, is there any questions?
Madam Chairman?
Go ahead, Mr. McAnally.
Through the chair to petitioner. I don't understand when you say security concerns. Are you concerned somebody's going to carry one of these prefab panels on their back and head to the road with it? What are you concerned about with the sidewalk?
You mean coming from the site in?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have cars parked.
So
private
there,
cars.
I just have seen a lot of buildings, and a lot of them have a sidewalk that ties pedestrian traffic to the existing sidewalk out front from the front door.
so David, if I can jump in, yes. So with the 3D volumetric boxes that we plan on building, once they come out of the factory and into the staging area, they are completed units on the inside. So all the cabinetry, all the appliances, everything is loaded into these units, and there's really, to make it easy, it's very easy to get into those if one person wanted to be or have access. So from that standpoint, it's just more of a concern about what's inside of the module that potentially could be taken or removed.
Again, I don't see a sidewalk being the stopping factor of somebody that wants to break in and take your stuff.
Yeah, true, I see what you're saying, but it seems a little bit more inviting to us. So, I mean, we'd be open to think about that, but just having a sidewalk where people can walk through, especially during the daily operations, it could potentially be a safety hazard as well. So it's there's just some
The
concerns.
sidewalk just goes to the front door, it doesn't go through the middle of your factory.
True, but there are occasions where there could be trucks coming in, and these modules are fairly large, so visibility could be an issue. Modules will be coming out of the lot various times throughout the day. So we were just erring on the side of caution to where we would just limit the amount of foot traffic in that area.
That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Paul?
Are you the engineer of the project?
Yes, I'm the civil engineer.
Okay, so have you looked at that drainage system, the forebear? I was out there and walked that, me and the mosquitoes today. That, I couldn't even find the pump station, it's so enclosed with the, I found the basin standpipe, and the forebear has, I think we're gonna have a problem with that. They've dug a drain from the forebear drain right over to the basin. And that's, the forebear is there for a reason, and it's not to drain it over to the, so I think that's, you gotta take a serious look at that. It's so overgrown, you can hardly get in there. I never did find the pump station.
I agree with you. What our plan is, and what we need to do, is completely regrade the forebay.
Okay,
The existing pond, the forebay is right here.
Right.
About this big.
They've
The
dug
other
a-
pond is here.
they've dug a drain from, on the side, in fact, it's the south side, to drain the forebay right over into the drain.
It will. And then, we still need to pump the pond.
Yes.
So that there'll be a new pump system constructed at the south end of the pond.
Okay.
The far west end of the pond,
Okay,
outletting right to the drain. So right now, the existing system has a pump that puts it into a kind of a swale ditch or something, and then.
it's a small pond.
Yeah. I know it's not in good condition right now. It looks like it hasn't been maintained at all, so.
I don't think it has.
So it would be completely reconstructed. with the
And
new-
maintained, I would imagine.
And
Who's
with
gonna
the new pumping
maintain
system.
that?
Yes.
Who's gonna retain that retention pond and the pumps?
Well, there's a,
An agreement?
yeah, it has to fall under agreement between both the North Logos property and this property, because it's a shared use. So there'll be a common agreement, shared agreement, that allows the.
And that should
maintenance
be
of it has to
undertaken
shared.
pretty soon, I would think, because it's gonna be, affect your building permit possible.
The other thing that has to be shared is, the current building has like a fire access route that comes on the south side of their building right here.
Yeah, I saw that too.
On this property. So we're constructing a new paved road right from their road over here into our fire loop system, and then another driveway back into their system here. So
Okay.
instead of that being a gravel surface now, that'll be a paved surface that connects the two. And that has to be a shared agreement that, that
Okay. Those
fire
agreements-
access can use that.
Agreement's got to be undertaken fairly soon. Yeah, I didn't have too much trouble with the building. I was just concerned that you're aware of that retention and the forebay and the pump station. I assume it's there.
It is, it is, I don't have my Google up right now.
No, that's all right, that's all right. You're the one going to deal with it.
Yeah, I know. So it'll be basically, we have to resize it, it won't even be reused, we have to put a brand new.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Chairman.
Mr. Graff, and then Mr.
Okay,
Frederick.
through the chair, I have a question for you regarding these modules. I see your proposed parking lot is asphalt. These modules, the pictures you guys have provided shows them being staged, and I see a trailer frame there.
Yes.
I don't know what those modules weigh. Maybe we need to set them on concrete.
So the weight of the modules with all the materials inside is approximately 40 pounds per square foot. So We're looking at modules ranging in size. On the large end, it would be about 1,000 square feet.
Okay, I don't want to see your parking lot collapse over there.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I appreciate the concern, but yeah.
Well, I'd get in trouble if the parking lot collapsed,
Well,
because he'd say my design was no good. So we're making sure that we have a good, solid base. That was our concern too, if it should be concrete or not, but I think we have a cross-section proposed right now that'll be sufficient for their voting conditions.
another question I got, we're in early stages here, but you guys planning on having on any fuel on site? Diesel fuel, gasoline?
To my knowledge, no.
No.
Okay, all right,
All activity takes place in the building,
right.
and it's just hammers, nails, and just like you're building a house.
Well, you're gonna have forklifts there, you're gonna have to have
Well, yeah,
propane or
right.
diesel fuel. If there's gonna be a tank on site, I want to see it.
So the plan is to use propane and battery. So we want to use batteries as many opportunities as possible. So we haven't decided which equipment we're going to use, but the plan is to use as many battery-operated machinery as possible.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, anytime.
All set, Madam Chair.
Just a couple things. First, I remember the history of that site. It was all supposed to be Logos Logistics, Phase 1 and Phase 2. And that's why the fire road was gravel-based, because it was going to be removed for the extension of Logos heading south. And we also waived building appearance requirements on that south face because it was a hardship, because they planned on expanding. So that's in memory there. And also, the forebay and the detention pond were built for the Logos project to handle Phase 1 and Phase 2 at that time. So any deficiencies in the forebay and the pond pre-exist.
What did they, okay, I think they approved it, but they did not approve the drain, or the ditch from the forebay over to the main drain.
Right, but that's the current,
Yeah.
I'll say, property owner, or whoever's controlling that property is responsible for that.
I think that's these gentlemen here, they're gonna have an agreement with
Yes.
Logos, so
Yes.
I think that's their problem.
And I see the new fire route around the front of the building is going to have a Knox box and a gate.
Yeah.
So that falls into, when it snows, that's got to be clear also. And to this report, the OHM report, I see on page 3, there's under architecture, the following are recommended. The proposed 8-foot of block along the east, south, and west elevations is acceptable, its appearance and all that. And it's still recommended, it says here, that a 6-foot minimum height of block is added to the north facade for building protection, especially due to the use of combine lifts and material handling in the adjacent area. So I look at our rendering here, and it's all metal on that side, right to the ground.
Yeah, I can address that. My name's John Schwartz. I'm with Brevard Construction Company. David's firm, Manick Smith Group, is doing all the civil engineering. We're actually handling the balance of the project, so structural, architectural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing within. And our engineering team has provided the drawings for the building. You are correct. The north space, north elevation of the building is metal wall panel. Much like you see in front of you, sheet to grade, 2 courses of block just above grade for snow load and whatnot. We do understand the recommendation, but based on the operation and how it is intended, we don't think that that's going to be a major factor that we need to include within the design. And we believe that, the masonry walls that we've included on the other elevations are adequate for not only the design, but the requirements of the area. So we've assessed it, and we think what we do have is adequate for what we need.
Alrighty. And as far as the Pennsylvania sidewalk, we'll call it a problem, that is, pre-existing 1976 era overpass over 275, and there's no room there for that. It was never taken into consideration at that time. So I have to agree with you on that Pennsylvania road sidewalk waiver, just because you didn't create that hardship. And I don't believe you're allowed to, like the overpass, the grade there, the side of the bank, that's all state property. So really I don't see where you could put a sidewalk on state property.
Yeah, from the existing conditions out there, it would be quite difficult to
Yes.
install property without some significant site improvements along that property, which I believe falls out of our property.
Correct. And now the billboard that's in that corner of that piece of property there, the access road in and out, how are we doing that?
Through the ownership purchase agreement, there'll be a easement and a agreement with the ownership existing of the property to maintain operation of that.
I can add a little more to that, too. There is an existing agreement there. I believe that we submitted it. So it's not an easement, it's just an agreement for them to have the access up through there.
Because they're coming in there to put they're coming in to put one brand new one that's going to face north and south on like a triangle type setup. Same as the ones along 94, it's a brand new one going in.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be taller to clear the overpass, if you're aware of that or not.
I'm not, I didn't know that. So, and the other comment that you mentioned about the sidewalk on Pennsylvania, in reality, to do that, we'd have to widen
The overpass.
the land coming up to it, which would remove all the vegetation,
I don't think that's an issue.
just to.
Which is all state property. I totally agree with the hardship on that, that elevation. Okay, that's all right now at this time.
Thank you. Mr. O'Brien?
Yep, I have a question. So I think you answered the first question that I was going to ask about reason for removing the existing pump stations. You know, I think Mr. Paul touched on that, and I believe you guys gave some explanation to that.
Yeah, the existing pump station needs to be just removed and a brand new one will be put in.
Okay. Now, my other question is actually on page 4 of the site plan C4.1. And I'm looking at, could you walk me through the traffic pattern that comes in and out of the building, in and out of the property?
Sure. So I just put it up on the screen here. You said 4.1?
Yes.
Okay, so one of the comments that we had during our initial review was to go ahead and limit the truck traffic to one way in and one way out. Because of the distance between here and here, we really couldn't get it anymore without, completely tearing up this pond, and that wasn't a good thing to do. So we're showing that all truck traffic will come down in here, come around, get unloaded, and then move back out for all the deliveries of materials. And then the same with when they're transporting the modules, the same way. This will be a one-way truck traffic, and it's 24-foot pavement. So
Okay.
it's designed to be a two-way, but it's set up now as a one-way.
So trucks will be able to come from the south into the,
Trucks come up this way, they'll come up to here and turn in.
so they'll come north and turn in?
Yes.
And then they could also come south and turn in?
Correct. At the
Okay.
northerly drive.
Okay. And they go around the building and, they do what they do and come out the other way. Now, when this building is in full operation, is that going to be the same traffic flow pattern?
Yes.
Okay.
And they don't get a lot of trucks here. I mean, the delivery trucks are, I don't know. We have it on the site plan. I think it's 5 a day or 4 a day or something like that. So very few trucks, coming in and out here.
Okay.
And we'll
Yeah.
have directional signage, property signage on the property for
Yeah.
driving in and out.
Okay.
That's what these are right here too. These are no parking. So it's signed for no parking, fire lane.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be my major concern, to make sure that we have signage over there. And also, that place really right now, there's not a lot of traffic going on, and so want to make sure that it stays that way too. And if trucks are coming both north and southbound, want to make sure it doesn't create like a congestion at that point, since there's only one way in and one way out. Want to make sure it's just not backing up and creating unnecessary congestion.
So this is the fire truck route. I showed you a truck route, and there's two of them. There's a fire truck route. So, the driveways are set up so that fire trucks can come in either direction.
Okay,
And that doesn't matter. And, the geometry is set up that way for the widening. These are the signs that will be posted here, here, and there, throughout the site, in here.
okay. And then two more questions. The loading area, you have in the schematic diagram, the trucks kind of facing the exit. Is that the way it's going to be loaded, or would it be more backed into the dock?
No, these will be in this configuration, as far as, they don't back in.
So are they going to be loaded with forklifts?
Well, they come out with a forklift and unload the materials.
So David, if I can help.
Yeah.
So the southern elevation there, where the trucks are shown right now, is raw material unloading. So that's raw materials coming in. They'll take those off side removal from the flatbed trucks, bring those inside the facility, and run their operation from there. The north side is the finished product unloading. East, 2 overhead doors. Finished product will exit those doors. They'll come out. They'll stage for a short time as they're shown in the northeast staging area, and then they'll be removed from there. So the trucks or the dollies will come out of those 2 northeast doors and stage from there.
Okay. And then my final question is, where do you intend to dump the snow when we have snow?
Well, we do have ample green space within on the northwest corner, as well as area along the outer road and within the storage to the northeast area as well. So I believe based on a total operation, there's ample space within the area to remove snow. Obviously, it depends on the snow loads and what we get for the season, but we believe there's ample area.
Good, thank you.
Sure.
Just another question regarding, through the chair, regarding truck circulation routes. What is your route in and out of the site?
Just much what David suggested. The closest proximity to entrance, exit off the freeways to the north. So we anticipate the majority of the truck traffic coming from the north, south down Warman Road, entering the northern entrance. So coming in with the right-hand turn directly up the road. So they won't be holding up left-hand turn lane, going north, turning left. Obviously, we can only control as much as we can, but from a safety aspect, that'll keep trucks directly into the site. There's plenty enough length within the drive so that if there was any backup, we have enough space to hold up backup traffic within the drive. So there should not be any point in time where we have excess truck traffic hanging out on the road. Again, even our basic setup and our anticipated truck traffic is 5 to 7 trucks total. So if we had all 7 trucks delivered at the exact same time, we have enough length within the perimeter road to maintain all trucks on site. So we should not create any safety issues for Warman.
Okay, Carol, what's the current rating of Pennsylvania Road as far as truck route?
Oh, that's a Jessica question.
Class B.
I'll look and let you know.
Pennsylvania being the southern
Yes.
east-west road, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of trucks sneak in that way, and they're not supposed to be on Pennsylvania Road.
They come in from west of Pennsylvania?
They come in from the east, like from 75 to Pennsylvania, I-75 Pennsylvania Road in, they sneak in the backside of that road. I was just wondering, to say publicly what your truck route is, to and from the freeway is north off of your site, just in case it's a concern later for citizenry.
Sure. That is the anticipated, that is the shortest traffic route to and from.
And being that's a border road with Huron Township, in case they had concerns also. Because it's still widely residential on Pennsylvania Road as of yet.
Yeah. Pennsylvania Road, we did not consider as a traffic pattern to support the facility.
Okay, because I know you didn't do a traffic study because of the low volume of your truck, so I just wanted to get that out there.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner, in regards to Pennsylvania Road, that is a county road and that's a Class B county road. So that's in comparison to Eureka Road, which is a Class A. So they would be able to
Right,
use that all year.
And Warman Road's Class A, it was built as such.
Warman Road is a city truck route.
Right,
It
but
does
it's-
not have a designation, but it is able to be used all year round.
Gotcha. To the north.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right, thank you very much.
Just want to comment on one thing here on that. We just showed the truck turning out here to the south because that's the more difficult turn. Going to the north, you got a wider radius to turn, so that's, if you could turn this way, you could easily turn that way. So we just showed it that way, even though the main route would be
Well,
going
it's,
backwards.
the questions kind of arose from protecting yourselves. Because currently in our city, trucks are going everywhere. They're not supposed to be. I mean, it's an epidemic. I'll use that word. Because like I live in a subdivision just on the other side of the city, and yesterday a double bottom truck that was heading for a Home Depot warehouse came through my subdivision.
Really?
He had zero business, he's from Oklahoma. So I'm sure you don't know, but he's following his phone. But he got himself in trouble, potentially. He didn't hit nothing because I was watching and followed him, but he went through a residential, 300-house residential city sidewalks in a non-divided road, and I just wanted to, don't get on that list, is all I'm saying.
Right. You guys must have a weighmaster too, don't you?
Nobody
No,
does.
we need one.
No.
You're on township.
It's the money from the weighmaster would go to the library, it doesn't pay for that guy's salary.
It can be
Jennifer
changed.
Granholm made it so.
Wayne County's only got one or two, so he's stretched pretty thin.
It's just there's a growing concern in this city about trucks where they belong and do not belong. Because it's not like, it's not the wrong business, it's just sometimes in the wrong location, they say. And the trucks have just been, it's been like the Wild West.
Well, we're gonna, like John was saying, we're gonna have signage, you know, that says, and it might be on the sheet here,
Well, that's what a few of our petitioners have been doing, is assigning their truck route to their
yeah,
in
you
and
know,
out.
that we're gonna, you know, this is turn left only, kind of an exit sign.
I mean, I appreciate that very, very much. You don't even know how much.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Mr. Paul, you had another question?
Just one quick question.
Okay.
The berm with all the trees out there on Warren, a lot of it has not been maintained. A lot of them look sick. Is there any agreement with the company, the owner, to replace those trees or to kind of clean it up?
There will be a maintenance plan for all the landscaping going forward, so they'll maintain that. And through the new plan, obviously, we dissect the berm with the trees, the two
Right.
locations. But the new landscape plan also supports additional vegetation on that berm across the frontage.
Okay.
So it
I just say
it
that
will
some of
be
those trees
touched
are
along the way.
dying.
Yeah, there's a significant amount of enhancement to that berm, to, over and above your code requirements, basically.
Right, and I say, they're just, and somebody's got to replace them. A number of those trees.
Okay. Alrighty. Looking at the configuration of the building, you have dock doors placed on various sides. Is that in and out? Is that what?
Yes, so again, if you want to pull it up, so the southern elevation, there's 3 dock doors, all available for loading of raw materials into the facility.
So that's coming in?
That's coming in, yep. We have essentially a backup overhead door on the east elevation. It's more of a just-in-case design plan, which is why it does only exit into the parking area, but it's not intended for long-term use, so it's kind of an emergency backup overhead door. And then we have the 4 overhead doors to the north. The primary use overhead doors to the north will be the 2 on the northeast corner. That's where the finished product will exit out of the facility. But if you were to see the inside process layout, material comes in from the south, it gets assembled from west to east, finished product across the facility, and then exits. So just like any other operation, if there was a delay in a raw material or something, and they needed to move units in and out, they have 2 additional overhead doors to the north to where they could pull out a unit and replace it back in line somewhere else, just in case they're waiting for some raw materials.
So you say you have 5 to 7 trucks a day?
That's
That's 5 to 7 trucks in and 5 to 7 trucks out,
No, 5 to 7 trucks total is expected.
total, so coming in and out. So basically, 3 trucks come in, unload, those 3 trucks leave,
Yes.
okay? And then you have your finished product that comes out the other door, the other back, and then you ship that out. How many modules do you ship out in a day?
Based on our projections, we're looking to ship anywhere between 8 to 12 a day, with the average obviously being 10.
And how many do you put on a truck?
At one time, just one.
So that would be another 8 to 12 trucks a day.
When we're to the point where we're delivering to the site, yes. So it would ramp up slightly when we're delivering these boxes to the site,
Well,
yes.
8 to 12 to me is more than slightly, because you're doubling your truck count right there.
Let me speak to that. So, it's, the most that the factory can actually produce is 5 modules a day. So,
Can you speak up,
Speak
please?
into the microphone,
We can't hear you.
please.
So what we're talking about is what happens in year 3. And our financial projections show that the most number of completed modules that can be done is 5 a day, okay? So in a worst-case scenario, just for underwriting purposes, there will be 5 trucks that could come and take each module and take the completed module and take it out, okay? That's our underwriting. The additional 3 trucks are for the raw materials being put into the site. So in the scenario that I believe Kenny is referring to, is if, and we all want to give you worst case scenario to be fully transparent, but in a worst case scenario, there could be a day or two whereby, and maybe it's just inclement weather, whatever it may be, there could be 4 modules that are sitting on the site waiting to be picked up because the previous day something didn't happen. So in a worst case scenario, we're talking 4 brand new and then 4 existing, and then that's why you get the 8. So the 8 coupled with the 3 to 4 of raw materials, that's where it just gets overburdened. But those are extreme circumstances. That is not the norm. That is an exception.
So the most you're ever going to have, for the most part, the most you will ever have on the outside would be 5 modules to be shipped out in a day?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're talking literally no more than 24 hours, and unless there's some crazy.
Well, that's a day.
Crazy situation on the
Oh,
weekend.
we have to look at,
Yes, ma'am.
we have to look at,
Yes, ma'am.
we can't look at, okay, well, maybe you'll have 2 trucks. We have to look at how many trucks do we potentially have?
Yes, ma'am.
You know, so what I'm seeing here is that you look like you could possibly have 16 trucks a day in and out.
No. The most we will ever, the most we will ever have, excluding extremes, is 8 in and out.
That's modules.
Yes, yes.
What about your raw materials?
3, so 11.
So that's 6.
11.
So that's 11. That's 11 one way.
That's 11 total. So if you, at the very absolute extreme, you'll see 11 trucks coming around that circle.
But how do the trucks get in there?
Well,
I mean, you have to have 11 trucks come in for 11 trucks to go out.
I'm missing your,
Okay, so your trucks come in with the raw material.
yes, 3.
3 trucks, okay?
Yes,
So those 3 trucks unload,
yes,
and then they leave.
yes.
Okay, so that's 3 trucks in and 3 trucks out.
That's, no. So there's 1 truck that is holding the raw material, enters into the north, comes, wraps around, drops it off on the south, and leaves.
You just said you have 3 trucks that come in with raw materials every day.
1 truck 3 times. 1 truck 3 times, yes.
1 truck 3 times.
Three trucks, yes.
You're losing me now there.
Okay, so there's 3 trucks for raw materials,
3
And at
trucks
the-
for raw materials that come in.
And then we're talking on a daily, excluding extremes, 4 trucks of picking up fully completed modules. So you're talking 7. And in an absolute extreme worst-case scenario, we're talking 11.
Okay, but what I'm saying is those trucks have to drive into your property,
Yes, ma'am.
and then they have to drive out of your property.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how many is that?
11.
So that's 11 a day.
Okay,
So I
so,
think what she's trying to say is, how many trucks would come down Warman Road? So if
In
one
the
truck comes
absolute-
in, drops off and he leaves, that's 2 truck movements.
That's 2 trips.
That's
no.
on Warman. The same truck, but he comes in and comes out.
Am I right?
Oh, okay, so
So if we
you're
truck
saying when
count the
somebody
trucks.
when somebody drives on Warman in one direction, that's one time,
Right,
right? And then when they exit, that's another time.
right.
So
Is that
that's
what
2.
you're saying?
Yes,
Right,
that's,
so
Got
that's 2
it.
trips.
So, okay, so 11 round trips, okay? 22 in one direction.
How do you get, so if you're picking up 4 modules and taking them out, so that's 4 trucks in, pick up the modules, 4 trucks out, correct?
No, it's 1 truck in that picks up.
Am I right?
Okay, all right.
Okay, so
he's
that's,
saying-
Yes.
I'm talking about trips.
Trip generation.
I'm talking about trips, not trucks. Trips, I'm
Okay, I
sorry.
thought you were saying trucks.
No, I was saying trucks, but I meant trips.
Trips.
So that's how much traffic will be on that road.
And where's-
It may only be 3 trucks, but it'll be in and out, so that'll be
Yes,
6
yes,
trips total.
Yes, and yes, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's what I was getting at.
So what is part of, when you say raw material coming in, what is that?
That was my next question.
Wood, mostly.
Yeah, typical.
Because you mentioned appliances, and so when you're putting these components together, are they all coming in on, like, what's on the truck that's dropping, wood is wood, but when you're getting into the other pieces of the modular component, what else is in there, and
Yeah, so we would be talking typical raw materials that you would see during a building process of a standard home or apartment building.
okay, so like a dishwasher, for example, a dishwasher, a refrigerator, a stove, all of
Yes.
those appliances, are they all coming in like once a week and then you're just stashing that stuff there? And then
Yes, so
okay.
there's
So those are a little
space
different
inside.
than your daily thing.
Yes, so
Got
there
it.
will be additional storage inside of the building to store the raw materials, so
So
yes.
occasionally there'll be, and when we hear raw materials, we think of things that aren't previously, like certainly an appliance is a previously prepared material.
Gotcha.
So you're gonna have those kind of deliveries as well.
Yes, we do expect large deliveries of those.
Of those as
Very
well.
few, but obviously they're going to be there for the modules. So if you look at, there's approximately, without going into a lot of detail, there's approximately 18 stations in there. And so, obviously we'll need the materials. And so we're concerned with material shortages. So but from that standpoint, the hope is to have, big deliveries very few times. And so we always have materials to pull from.
What actually is the building materials themselves? Wood?
Wood, yes
Wood.
ma'am, it's wood.
And what are the lengths on the wood that come in?
I'm sorry,
What are the lengths?
the lengths?
I mean, do you have like big trucks bringing in the wood, or do you have to build it yourself?
No, I mean, it's going to be your standard 2x4,
Okay.
nothing substantial, no.
I mean, you're not going to have extended trailers coming
Yeah.
in?
Yes, it's standard flatbeds, yes.
One other question, if I may.
Go ahead.
Are you building these partitions or whatever for the purpose of what?
So these 3D volumetric boxes will be used to build affordable housing. And it's imagine a Lego, like just a Lego brick. And you would just stack these and they can go up to 5 stories high, as long as wide as we want them. And so the goal is to use these for a lot of our affordable housing
So you
projects.
can build
throughout
them
the
quick?
Midwest. I'm sorry?
You can build them quick?
Yes, sir. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, my pleasure.
Go ahead, Mr. McAnally.
Through the chair, I see you have a waste receptacle, a double dumpster. Now, I assume all these appliances you're getting in are going to be coming in cardboard. Do you think are you going to recycle that? What are you doing with all this cardboard?
Yeah, so some of our funding, a lot of our funding sources require us to recycle all of our raw materials or waste from the materials. So the plan is to have those recycled, yes.
So they'll be remaining inside the building until somebody either takes them or picks them up? They're not going to be stored outside?
No, that is correct. They will be stored inside of the building waiting for pickup.
Okay, another question I have, and if I do the chair to the planner, this is in our Southern Gateway District according to the master plan, right?
It is.
This and logos. What we've struggled with in the past is building appearances. We want good building appearances off of 275. I was wondering if maybe we should consider some sort of an overlay in that area so we can consistently get building appearances for that roadway.
It is on our list of amendments to actually put overlay standards in, very similar to Vining Road. The difference in this one, and I know you all are comparing it to Logos didn't meet that 300-foot requirement. This one's in that 300-foot requirement where those standards of your ordinance just in general are waived. So remember that I think Jerry brought up that southern wall.
Right,
and that
right.
was because it was still within that, that distance that you have building appearance standards of the regular zone, or just the zoning ordinance had to be met. This one, they're in. So that's why they've got, parking is split up. They worked it so that it got into the interior of the site, so it wouldn't be so visible from, the perimeter roads.
But again, that's just something I was thinking we would make it consistent for future development.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We learned that on this one. Said we need overlay standards in the ordinance.
Right.
And we've got some good ones to start with Vining Road, so, yeah.
Right,
We'll add that to one
right.
of your future agendas.
Mr. Wabate?
So back to the issue of traffic and trucks, and we've established the 11 trucks as worst-case scenario. Now, do you have truck parking on site? Do you anticipate truck parking on site overnight?
No.
Okay. So operationally, your turnaround will be within a day. From what I'm hearing, it seems like one truck comes, it's like each truck is kind of like a deadhead. It comes, drops the materials, leave, empty, and then an empty truck comes in, picks up a finished material. Am I understanding that?
Finished product exits the job site with a load. That truck comes in empty.
Okay. So do you intend for this to be like a 24-hour operation?
No. Right now, the intent is it's a one-shift operation going into the facility. Good Lord willing, if we start making more, we'll look for another building on your city property, and we'll build another one.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like things are pointing in that direction, So what time do you anticipate the last truck leaving, either with a load or deadhead?
The plan, as it's been discussed, is that it's normal plant operation hours. So whether we start at 7 or 6 or what the appropriate time is, that the operation runs a standard 8, possibly a 10-hour shift, depending on what the shifting is, but that the trucks are within those hours as well. We're not anticipating that any of these trucks will leave the site at 10 p.m. at night with a large load leaving the site.
Okay, so in the event where, these are mechanical instruments, things break down, a truck comes in, for whatever reason, it breaks down at the last shift, you're saying to us it's not going to stay there overnight, it'll be towed, or do you have a designated place?
The plan is that no vehicles shipping or receiving are parked overnight. As you guys know, Romulus has a large trucking population within here, and there's plenty of mechanics that can assist those vehicles in getting them in or off the site if they need to. So with the expectation, the plan is that there's no overnight parking.
Okay. I just, that was a concern, because looking at the way you have the site staged, there's really no place to stage a truck. That is either broken down, and so I just wanted to make sure that you had that.
As much as you don't want it, we don't want it.
Okay, good.
Madam Chair,
Thank you, Mr. Frederick.
just another question now, because it came up while you were discussing, like the appliances, you have no dock door. Everything's ground level.
That's correct.
So how's the efficiency? How do you unload it like an 18-wheeler?
The expectation is that either they come in with a curtain flatbed, rolls, front,
side
rear
load.
to front of the facility. That'll be, part of the logistics operation manager. That's what they'll have to work out, but that's why we anticipate 100 and some odd employees in here, and we'll have to work that out.
All right, I found that to be curious as well. As soon as you mentioned the appliances and such, I was like, you think it would be a traditional dock door back-end situation. I didn't see one, so, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody have any other questions? I'm looking for something here. Jessica, on one of your reports that you did, you made the comment about recommending not to approve this. Am I reading that right?
Not on this site, no.
Not on this site?
Nope. And
Okay, I got it confused then. Okay.
There are a couple things you guys need to decide about. Number 2.
Right.
The determination about the sidewalk and OHM's recommendation about the building appearance. So both of those that are in the recommendation. The first one is number 2, and the second one is number 4.
Is it under the OHM notes or under?
They're under the planner report, but they came from the OHM comments as well. So the first was a determination being made by the planning commission regarding a sidewalk connection from Mormon Road to the interior of the site for employees. And some of the reasons that we actually have a lot of employees that do travel by, we got one here, our purchasing director rides a scooter, and we've got somebody in our office, I'm not really sure what that thing is, he rides.
It's a wheel.
It's a wheel of some sort. And then the other one is under 4, the modifications to the building appearance. I think it was on the north side of the building.
yeah, the good discussion that we had in regards to the operations on the north side of the building and whether or not the brick needed to be extended to at least a 6-foot minimum height along the north side.
Madam Chairman,
Go ahead, Mr.
I'd like
Mayor.
to make a comment. As far as I'm concerned, I think they should have the sidewalk in. I don't buy off on the security aspect of a sidewalk coming from the street to the door.
If there's no fence, someone's breaking in, they're not necessarily going to stay on a sidewalk anyhow.
No, that's my thought.
It's my thought, but. Mr. Frederick?
Back onto the architecture comment about let's see here, it's still recommended that a 6-foot minimum height of block is added to the north facade. I think that protects future tenant, future use of the building as far as appearance, like 20 years from now. I mean, maybe it suits the purpose now and the use now, but like 20 years from now, let's say, things change up a little bit or whatever, and it's a new tenant or owner, that it would already be to what we were expecting to be for architectural appearance. Like we got, I don't want to say, we got led astray on the logos logistics. We should have asked for the south-facing facade, even though it was a quote-unquote hardship at that time, because then we would have it now, but we don't.
Again, from the operational standpoint of this facility and how it's going to operate, we don't anticipate a lot of fork truck traffic in and out of the northern elevation of the building, more so on the southern elevation where we have the 3 truck docks. That's the operational sequence to where we'd have more, where we do have the masonry, knee wall system, call it. It's just, as part of a function of the investment of this building, it wasn't a requirement for our operation. We do intend to have bollards at the doors to protect the doors and the openings and the jams. But from just an aspect of installing additional masonry there, we have to make the building also meet energy code. So adding more masonry would start to throw some of those calculations into complication.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
is putting that sidewalk in, is that a problem for you guys?
If that is a serious contention, we can take care of the sidewalk. We don't see a need for the sidewalk that supports this facility. We don't see how it benefits the facility going forward, but if that's what you guys are recommending, that's what is needed. The sidewalk is not going to kill this project.
Good. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
I'm sorry, yes, Ms.
question. So you mentioned energy. Are you trying to be LED LEED certified?
No, there's a comm check required for all buildings now, and we have to meet the comm check. Masonry has a lower value than the insulated metal wall panel, so adding more masonry would start to offset the comm check calculations.
Okay.
It would just become problematic to actually meet building code.
Comment on the sidewalk. If we had to, we could probably bring it in right from here, tie it into there.
That's fine.
Not a big deal.
Still have to have.
Keeps it away from the product.
Okay. So basically, have we addressed, just make sure, have we addressed all of the issues in the OHM report under general where you have it, the land division?
The two issues that needed some sort of determination or discussion were the sidewalk connection from the interior sidewalk to Warman Road.
Okay.
And then the second one was the north side, the north elevation,
The building on the side,
the
okay.
aesthetics of the north elevation.
Those were the two that
Those were the two that needed a
that had
discussion.
not been, okay.
Yep.
So we got one down.
So we have one down and one to go.
So the last recommendation here, that all comments of agencies and departments.
I know.
So they get thrown in anyway, but you have to try to put all the ones that need resolution up
Right.
in that first report.
Right.
Yep.
So under the summary, basically, we've already talked about the two waivers, which don't seem to be an issue. And the existing vegetation, and the right determination, sidewalk, okay, we've gotten that one taken care of, sidewalk on Ormond Road. An access easement agreement for connection to the local property must be provided for review during engineering. That's during engineering, okay. Okay. And we've handled the limits of the access easement to the billboard.
Yes, we gave them a
Okay.
copy of that.
Revised light plan. Revision to the landscape plan that addresses the starting size of the boxwoods.
Madam Chair, it sounds like at this point, the only thing left to make this call on here is, are we satisfied with the condition of the appearance of the building?
Correct.
If we can live with that, then we can either make a motion to approve or deny.
Right.
His consensus is, people are satisfied? Okay.
Madam Chair, I just saw that the applicant went so far as to bring some materials in here. Would you care to go through the materials or show?
Yes,
them
I was
where
going to
it's
ask you about the
built?
materials. Thank you, by the
That
way.
might help you decide on whether you.
Yes, thank you, by the way. Most people forget to
Is this
bring.
on? Is this on?
Yes.
You have, I don't know if you want to pull up the elevations. Unfortunately, the elevation that we have here is still showing the old blue, which was heavily suggested that we bring that to an earth tone colors, which we did. So the blue metal wall panels that you see up there will actually be comprised of a metal wall panel system, built-up IMP insulation. It'll be a 3-inch metal wall panel, which is down here. The exterior color will be a earth tone beige or gray. I have 3 of the samples here. So anybody that would
They
like
look
to,
nice.
you can take a look. And on the updated rendering, it's beige. Sorry, they only come in 2x2s when I do ask for the samples.
Sure, no problem.
You've got to use a little imagination. But these will be the outside colors of the metal wall panels. And then the masonry system, as you see, has 2 reveals within it. It's the heavier gray indicated on this plan. The majority of the masonry will be the split face masonry here. The accent bands will be the smooth accent bands here. We need to maintain a smooth accent band to marry the insulated metal wall panel to the building, so that makes sense that this is the accent in several locations. The windows and the louvers, as indicated on the plan, will consist of aluminum punched window system. So this is representative of what the windows will look like. This is also representative of what the 2 main entry will look like. So on the east elevation and on the west elevation, the 2 entries there will consist of an aluminum storefront entry system. The balance of the man doors, 3, 4, 5, will be standard metal, hollow metal frames, metal doors, insulated systems. It'll be a pre-engineered metal building. It'll have a standing seam galvalume roof system on it. It'll stand there for quite some time. It is what we at Brevard do on a regular basis. It will look like a high-end finished product when it's done. And I think we've gone through with the assistance of your team, making several suggestions. We've incorporated more masonry, incorporated the kind of the pillars at the end, as well as the additional masonry walls, just to give it a little more depth and texture. We've also incorporated an awning at both of the aluminum storefront entrances so that there's a little more depth as well there. We'd like to maintain that awning with a little bit of color, so I think we're going to go blue with that, just on the fascia, so that it's got a little bit of color to go with the coloring of the company. But
So you're saying those will be a little bit of blue?
just the fascia on the awning. that
Right,
hangs
right,
out. So it'll be a flat awning, kickbacks,
Right.
kicking back to the masonry.
Right. And it's not electric blue?
No, no.
I know, I see.
Possibly a blue closer to that.
Oh,
So-
that's good, yeah. I like those, it'll look nice.
The drawings you have show the correct colors.
This is a previous rendition that, again,
Right.
your team helped us move more
Oh, I
towards something
see.
that would meet your guys' approval.
Okay.
That looks good.
Any other questions?
You have a question? Any other questions or comments?
Okay, Madam Chairman?
Mr. McAnally. I'm right, Mr. McAnally.
Make the motion to approve site plan SPR 2021-011 Aslan Romulus Jacinco Development at 16900 Warman Road, subject to the 5 items listed in the summary, with item 2 being changed to include the sidewalk for the connection to Warman Road.
Support.
I have a motion from Mr. McAnally, supported by Mr. Gladfelty. To approve the site plan for SPR 2021-011, Aslan Romulus. Is it Genosco or Genosco?
Janowski.
Oh, Genosco, sorry. Development at 16900 Warman. And that would be based on the comments above and those of other departments and agencies. And the 5 items listed on page 6 and 7 of the planner's report dated July 30th, 2021.
Can I offer one
Go ahead.
correction? E on the report, 4E needs to be removed, because that's the condition that's would require
Oh,
more masonry.
You talking about the modifications?
Yep, so just get rid of that statement, and
Okay.
So moved.
All righty.
thank you, Jessica.
You fine with that, Mr. Gladfelter?
I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. Is there any discussion?
No.
Mr. McAnally?
Yes.
Mr. Gladfelter?
Yes.
Mr. Paul?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Ms. Jamison?
Yes.
Mr. Roboade?
Yes.
Mr. Proba?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, site plan is approved. Good luck, gentlemen.
Just want to thank
Welcome to the
everybody for
city.
your time. Thanks a lot. We appreciate everything, all your help.
Best of luck.
Yes.
And also, thank you, Rob. He was the first person I met at the city of Romulus, and he really did a wonderful job at making most of it. Yeah, he sold us on the city. Thank you, everybody.
If I can add a comment real quick on the back of that.
Pardon me?
If I could add just one quick comment on the back of that, it was really a win on the whole city's part. 120 jobs in this manufacturing. They called, they reached out to our colleague at Lansing. They were having trouble developing in other cities. We're out the back, Carolyn, OHM went to work, found a site that worked for them. They made it work for them, revised it, and so now they're before the planning commission, and they got
Yeah.
approved in a record amount of time. So home of opportunity, also opportunity for our residents to get good paying jobs too. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Sure.
And welcome to Romulus.
Yes, welcome to Romulus. I guess the biggest problem is we haven't been here like for over a year. It's been all Zoom.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So it's kind of trying to get our footing.
Do you need these back?
Okay, so we are done with that one.
Yeah, I'll take them on the second one. I'll recycle them here next one.
I know I did.
Oh, I couldn't even see it.
All righty, gentlemen and ladies, are we ready for the next one? Moving right along. We will go to SPR 2021-008, D&G North Line. And this is construction of a 54,821 square foot warehouse and distribution building at 28301 North Line, parcel number 8009900040704. And the petitioner is here. And as they come up here, Carol or Bob, do you have anything to start us off, or we go right to the petitioner?
We can go right to them.
All righty.
I'm sure we'll make a fine presentation
We will
for
do
you.
that. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Nino from D&G Building, Nino DiDomenico from D&G Building Company. We are proposing to build a 54,825 square foot building on the corner of Harrison and North Line. It is the southeast corner of Harrison and North Line, property that we own. As of right now, we're planning on building a spec building. We have two customers that we are engaged with right now. Unfortunately, we cannot give them an end date because we haven't received site plan approval. So, but in the last year, fortunately, in Romulus, all our buildings are taken, and we had several customers within the last year that needed space between 30,000 and 60,000 square feet, and there is nothing available in the area. I know it sounds extreme to build a spec building, but we have potential customers that we cannot satisfy. Like I said, right now, we have 2 customers that we're heavily engaged to go into this building. And right now, we do not have renderings because we want that customer to have the potential to pick some of the colors when it comes to that point. But we plan on putting a all masonry building, split face, colored block, neutral colors. And that's something, before we pick the colors out, we'll present them to the building department and the planning department. Mike Brock from Hennessy Engineers can go over the site plan with you.
Hello, Mike. Haven't seen you in over a year.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Mike Brock with Hennessy Engineers. Here with Nino to discuss his building on the, as he said, on the southeast corner of Harrison and Northline. The property right now is vacant. We propose a 54,000, I believe it's 825 square foot building with a vehicular parking lot on the, what would be the north side of the building with a drive approach onto Northline, and then truck traffic would enter the south side of the building off of Harrison. There's we have a truck dock on the rear of the building that will allow for loading and unloading, and some trailer spaces on the south side of the parking lot. Utilities, you know, it's served with public water, sewer, and to the east of the building, there's the Franken Poet drain, which would be the stormwater outlet. And we do plan on collecting the stormwater and detaining it in an underground detention system, similar to what we did with Aerostar on the, or that'd be the east side of this building. It'd be the underground open bottom arch system of detention, which seems to work pretty well. Yeah, we plan on bringing a fire hydrant in for fire protection. There'll be one on the north side of the building, one on the west side. And there's an existing sanitary sewer along Northline, so we plan on tapping that for the sanitary lead. Trucks, like I mentioned, trucks would enter and exit through the rear approach onto Harrison. I believe Harrison is a designated truck route for this area. So, you know, trucks would be able to use that. The site would be heavily landscaped. There's an existing small berm that's along Northline, and kind of there's one small one along Harrison too, but those would be regraded, reshaped, probably brought up to a proper height, and then heavily landscaped in that area. Photometrics, you know, there's most of the lighting would come off the building itself, have very little effect on surrounding properties. This shows the property. It's that vacant lot in the corner, right there, the southeast corner of Harrison and Northline, with Aerostar Manufacturing to the east. And I believe there's some residential there to the west, but it's all zoned, if I'm not mistaken, it's all zoned industrial. And then you can see the drainage, the drains, the Franken Poet on the south, and the Packer drain on the east. And just a couple of pictures of the property. That's one looking from the corner. That's one looking down Northline. You can see there's that small berm right there that would be enlarged and reshaped and then heavily landscaped. It's there already. And then this is looking down Harrison. Again, there's that berm, that small berm that goes along the edge of the property there that would be enhanced, enlarged, and landscaped, heavily landscaped. Right, as Nino said, you know, they don't really have a tenant right now, so we're kind of guessing at the truck traffic and vehicular traffic counts at this point until, until a tenant does come in, at which at that point, we'd be able to better understand, what their needs would be. We got that. That's kind of about it in a nutshell. I guess I'd entertain any questions anybody might have.
Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Prova?
Through the chair, I have a question. I researched your storm tech system
Yeah.
for your underground water retention, and I see where those are plastic arches. And then you mentioned that you used them in another site.
Yep.
So you have no problems with weight restrictions on them, or?
Nope, they're all H20 loaded. They require like 2 feet at minimum of 2 feet of compacted stone on the top of them to try and make a bridge. I mean, the arch shape itself, when you look at ancient Roman times, it's all used back then. It's a really strong shape. And I mean, Jessica, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, we use them all over. They're designed for that.
We actually used it on the 7-foot edition on the Aerostar.
Yeah, right next door to this one.
In the back there also.
And that's right by the truck well.
Yeah, it's a nice drainage field.
Yeah, it's large. There's gonna be a lot of dirt coming off the site because of it, but gotta do what you gotta do.
It's all clay.
Yeah.
Thank
Is that
you.
it? Sure. Mr. Frederick?
Side note on that comment by Mr. Crowell.
Sure.
Is, that is the current direction Wayne County wants to go with on-site storm management. Just
Sure,
bringing
thank
that
you.
up as a point.
Yeah, they actually, they want to infiltrate the water back into the ground instead of just discharging it all into the drainage. They want to kind of recharge the ground with some of this, collected storm water. So that open bottom arch system, I mean, it's perfect for it.
Yep. I just wanted to point that out, that is the direction it's going.
Right, yep, thank you.
Thank you. Did you have a comment,
No,
Jessica?
I'm sorry, I just cleared my throat.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a question. Based on sheets CE3, you indicated that you don't have a tenant yet, or you've not identified one, but you do indicate here that you're providing 22 spaces for trailer parking and 35 spaces for vehicle parking. Do you anticipate a lot of trailer truck traffic being parked on site, or that's just a placeholder?
Yeah, at this time, it's really unknown on what the tenant will want or bring. I mean, this is what could potentially, that they would have. So there would be room for trailers should they want to store some overnight. I think we're right at well, I think we might be actually a little bit less than 125% of outdoor storage that's allowed. So, technically, I think we'd be able to have a little bit more, but that's just the right amount for this type of use, this type of building right here.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Garfield?
Through the chair, I'm not too worried about you guys. You've built a lot of good buildings in our town. You'll make it right. I feel pretty confident.
They've been around for a while, that's for sure.
You guys do nice work.
Madam Chair.
Mr. McAnally?
Through Chair Petitioner, well, I'm not real sure where I'm going with this. But on August 2nd, we have the new engineering note where we start talking about sidewalks.
Correct.
Now, that's not in our summary letter, but there's a recommendation for an internal sidewalk to go from proposed sidewalk parallel to the right-of-way is made for future employees connection. Are you aware of that, or have you seen that?
I didn't see that in this.
You should have gotten a supplement review from OHM from Kayla yesterday.
August 2nd.
Okay, no, I see it here now, yep.
I just wanted to make sure do you have an issue with that?
We are putting in a sidewalk along North Line, and we're extending the sidewalk along Harrison to the property line. I mean, I don't see a problem extending that, I guess, that thickened edge sidewalk that's at the north side of the building.
You guys okay with?
Yeah, just extending it down the sidewalk right there.
To that Harrison sidewalk.
Just so, so you could get a pedestrian walkway.
That's fine.
Right.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just looking at
I know, I'm just-
reading the parking calculations.
I am
Is
too.
there something that we need to sort out with that?
So we're fine right now with removing the, two parking spaces? I mean, we can just strike them off or just pull back
Yeah,
the,
we
pull
just
back
had
the pavement on there.
different, they're different sizes, you're noted as one number, counted up as another. Yeah, so just, and I think that's all in there, just get it cleaned up.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, if you can remove the two for now.
Right.
Deal with it once you get employees in there if you need
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have an issue
Two or
with that.
three.
And then
Well, the
correcting the
requirements,
sizes.
they can have up to 33.
So I counted 36 spots in the employee lot. I counted a couple times to try and make sure I was correct. And it depends on whether or not the two really wide spots you're counting as parking. But if those are not parking spots, they need to be striped out.
Yeah, it wasn't intended to be a parking spot. but
Okay.
I can stripe it out. I think we owe you like a corrected site plan that, we can take care of all that.
Okay.
For sure.
It'd be good if you put the parking count in a circle in each one of the bays.
Okay, that's fine.
Madam Chair, one more question through the chair to the planner. When we make a motion, what do you want included from the engineering letter into our motion? Because the summary letter doesn't have anything about tie-in sidewalks.
Basically, under this comment, all comments of other agencies and departments.
That'll
must be
cover it?
addressed on revised plan. Yep, it'll pick up that letter as well, that supplemental letter.
Mr. Paul?
There's a water main that appears on the south side of the parcel. Is that alive or is it?
Yeah, that's an existing water main. That was a loop for the Aerostar building.
Okay.
So that goes east to the east side of the Aerostar property and then back up to the north line. So it's kind of a fire loop.
It's their second feed then from Harrison for Aerostar.
Yeah, that one does tie into the Harrison
Is
water.
that going to interfere with your drainage system at all?
It's pretty tight, but
Yeah.
we can make it work.
You can make it work?
Yep.
Okay. It's going to be pretty tight.
Yeah, we'll be sure to stay out of the easement. We had the exact same situation on the Aerostar addition. We had the underground detention system right there, and there was that water main.
Right there.
Right there, it was close, but we made it
You're
work.
you're knowledgeable of the water main.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments from anybody? No? Then a motion would be in order.
May I make a comment in regards?
sure, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. In regards to the list, number 4, the approval of OHM and Fire Department on access and circulation. Chief Allison and I have had discussions in regards to the length of the employee lot, and he had felt that the emergency vehicle can enter and back out of the employee lot without making or traversing all the way to the west. So he did not have any issues in regards to adding a turnaround.
Okay.
So number 4 has been taken care of.
So we can delete number 4?
Yes.
Okay, so we got 8 items now, then.
Yeah, we're down to 8. I think we have everything else. Okay. A motion is in order.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Gladfelder.
I will make a motion to approve the site plan for SPR 2021-008, D&G North Line located at 28301 North Line, along with the 8 recommendations. Summary.
Support.
Who supported that? Mr. Bobato?
Okay.
All right. So I have, excuse me, a motion from Mr. Gladfelder, supported by Mr. Boboade. So we are approving the site plan for SPR 2021-008 D&G North Line at 28301 North Line, subject to the now 8 items that are listed in the planner's report dated July 29th, page 6 and page 7. And that would also include the 8th item, which was all comments of other agencies and departments must be addressed. Is there any discussion? If not, we'll take a roll call. Mr. Gladfelder?
Yes.
Mr. Bowaday?
Yes.
Mr. Krova?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. McAnally?
Yes.
Ms. Jamison?
Yes.
Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. Paul?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. This site plan is approved. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I'd welcome you to Romulus, but you've already been here. I'll just say welcome back.
Tell your dad we said hi.
Yes, thank your dad, we say that.
Yeah, how's your dad doing, Nino?
You know. How's
your dad doing?
Still feisty as ever?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
He wasn't out digging driveways any ways today.
What's that?
He wasn't out there digging driveways
No.
like he was on that,
On that one,
the
yeah.
one in Northland.
Yeah. All righty. So we can move along. And under 7 is PC cases involving advice or input from the planning commission. Do you need our advice?
No, normally for a special meeting, we don't have that one on there, but I put it on there just in case I needed to, and I didn't.
Okay.
So,
Well, hey, you got it there, we want to help you if you need it.
right.
Under item 8, we have communications, and I don't think we have any communications.
You have project status.
The project
Well, the
status
project
report.
status report,
And
which I was
same
gonna
thing,
say.
that's typically not an item that would be on here, but again, at the time when this went together, we weren't sure that we were going to be having a regular meeting in August, so I wanted you to be up to date on what was in.
Oh, sure.
We are going to be having a regular meeting on August 16th, and you're also having another special meeting for North Point on August 31st. So, your calendar is loaded for August.
You turned your
Stay
microphone
tuned.
on there, Mr.
One
McCray.
thing, if you
Oh,
guys,
sorry.
this month, if you could, keep an eye on your email. It saves Kayla from having to make phone calls, so stuff changes, and as you know, we got a lot going on right now. So keep an eye on those emails.
Right.
If you would, please. So.
Sure.
I have 2 questions for Bob.
Go ahead.
I have 2 questions for you. What's the bicycle path in the middle of Goddard Road?
That's a shade road.
That's exactly what it is, bicycle path. There was, they applied for some grant monies, and they got grant monies to tie that, the bike path that goes on
down
Northland
on-
Road.
Yeah, yeah.
And the grant funding paid for that, and then there's also the requirements for the marking. So that's a dedicated bike path now,
Okay,
so.
so they can ride on that, I'm hoping to show
Is
you.
there going to be any kind of barrier there, like in front of the doctor's office and that, and the road? I mean, it's like, there's a bike
No.
path, there's a side of the road, and there's a road.
I don't believe so. I believe it's all, it's a finished grading, it's a finished product to be installed, and that's wrapped up.
You got the grade where you fall off under the bridge.
Yeah.
If I can make
Hopefully that doesn't happen, but.
If I can make a comment on the share road, maybe a sign that says single file bicycles, so they don't be riding side by side by side.
So you
Down
want
Goddard
more
Road.
signage to say that there's bikes there?
What's that?
You want more signage to say that there's bikes there?
I seen a bike on the way here riding the share road right through town, but you know they're gonna ride side by side.
Only
That's
They're
where the trouble's
actually-
gonna come in.
They are actually allowed
To ride side by side?
Yep. You as a vehicle, they are considered a vehicle. You are not allowed to pass them unless you have adequate room and can give them at least 3 foot of space, and they can ride in tandem.
That's if they're in the road. That's
It's if they're in the road, yep,
Not on the bike path.
correct.
You're
But
talking
you
about-
can't tell them go single file?
Not,
bike
it's
path?
not, it's
So I know
against
like
the,
motorcycles aren't supposed to ride side by side for safety reasons. They're supposed to ride staggered.
and again, with the motorcycle, you need to, they are treated as a vehicle, and you cannot pass them unless you have adequate room to pass them. With cyclists, the motor vehicle code for Michigan treats them as a vehicle as well, so we cannot mandate that they ride single file. It's not part of the Michigan vehicle code.
They're gonna be riding right down to dead center, you know that. Can you
Well,
get a
and
line?
if it makes them feel safer,
Can they get a
they
line
can take up
from the
any
curb?
point of the
That
route.
they gotta be in that line?
No, they can, the Sharrow is just there for vehicles to bring added attention to the fact that you might have a cyclist there, but the cyclist can take up any portion of the lane. They do not have to ride all the way over to the side.
Well, I hope they like Amazon trucks.
They're
gonna get a-
When are they gonna open up Cannon and
Northline.
Northline?
North on.
Very soon. They're just waiting on some timing and for the signals and the final electrical. So it'll be wrapped up very soon.
They've had to mow the grass up there, it's been so long.
Right, yep. And there's a lot of things slowed down through the county right now, and that's their portion of it. So last I was informed was they were very close, just the timing of the signals and the final of the electrical to be installed.
Yeah,
will be-
do the striping last time I was there.
Okay, yep.
Everybody striping.
Very
I
soon.
don't know, that was last week.
So is it going to be open in time for them to shut down Wayne Road for 3 weeks?
I would hope so, but I can check and get back to you on that one.
Because, you know, it took longer than 3 weeks for them to do Hannon Road. I'm having a hard time believing it's
Part of
going
the,
to be 3
and I'm
weeks.
going to be the last person to make excuses for Rickman, but part of the reason it was a longer delay at Hannon and Tyler was they had discovered a gas main that they didn't know was there. So when they had to make an offset for a 48-inch main, you don't just go to Home Depot and buy that offset. It had to be made and custom made. So that was a big reason for the delay at that intersection. So hopefully they don't run into any of those delays on Wayne Road. And we did, the city did not want Wayne Road to be closed. We objected to that very strongly. It wasn't the original plans. We were overruled by Wayne County, and they agreed to go with it. We had definite concerns for our residents in the area, our businesses in the area, and also emergency vehicles. So we very strongly objected to it. Unfortunately, through this whole project, we haven't had a lot of say-so in the matter, so we just hope it goes well and they don't run into any snafus or that it's going to delay them, and they can do this as quick as possible.
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
Can't get out of town.
Right, right.
You know, if one other thing I can, you know, so a couple of the hot topics that we've been hearing about was Amazon being in the Kelsey Hayes building. They were going through process because of their traffic volume. We were working with them on several modifications that would have to be taken, they would have to do in that area to accommodate. They were unwilling to do it. The city was unwilling to, we weren't going to accommodate them, and if they weren't going to pay for it, we were going to do them. And they since vacated that site. So they're out of the Kelsey Hayes site. And the other one right now is A123 building. I don't know if you caught the article that went out this week. We've been working on that one for a while to bring Ford in there. It's a big name. Now we got GM and Ford in Romulus, so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
It's their headquarters.
What they're
World
gonna,
headquarters.
we're working on it. We got room for them. But what they're gonna do there is they're gonna develop the battery making process, not develop batteries themselves. They wanna refine their process for making batteries. So it'll be, once again, high-end manufacturing jobs, and also they like the vacant land next to it for more of a campus feel. So stay tuned for more things from Ford on that one. We had another good conversation with them today, and they're excited about being here, so another
That's
big win
great,
for our
yeah.
city.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely.
Any other questions or comments? Anybody have any questions on the review, the stuff that's under review? No? Quiet group. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight and for bearing with me as I tried to figure out what the heck I was doing, now that I'm back in here instead of at home.
You did fine.
Anyhow. And so, with that, we can adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Mr. McAnally, you made that? Mm-hmm. Motion by Mr. McAnally, supported by Mr. Paul, to adjourn. Mr. McAnally?
Yes.
Mr. Paul?
Yes.
Mr. Gladfeldy?
Yes.
Mr. Robade?
Yes.
Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Ms. Jamison?
Yes.
Mrs. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Prova?
Yes?
Mr. Did you? You already made it, didn't you? Okay. I vote yes. This meeting stands adjourned.
Anybody wants their stuff recycled, just leave it someplace on the table and we'll put it in the recycling bins over here.